Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Vital Statistics. I'm Shemetris Vital, and you are listening to WSL Radio, our youth and young adult talk show. And guess what? As always, it's another great Wednesday evening, and another great Wednesday evening that I've got a special guest. Last week, you heard me, and I just talked about some of the things we talked about in February, and just some things on my mind. I talked a little bit about just trusting God and walking and just taking that path, and then believing that you can do anything. So I think that this conversation that we have for you today is probably a really good conversation, because I talked about trusting God and then believing that anything is possible. And my guest today definitely is a part of that definition. She showcases that anything is possible. I'm going to read to you her bio. It's a short bio, but it probably could be much longer than what she gave. But we're going to find out a little bit about her. But Carol is a sophomore studying journalism and business entertainment at American University. She realized at the age of 11 that photography was her passion. And it was photography that ultimately led her to create Nyota, and if I'm saying it wrong, she will correct me later. It's Nyota, Nyota magazine. Carol is also passionate about public speaking and was given the chance to give a TEDx talk at the age of 17, where she talked about the lessons she learned from creating the magazine. I don't want to say it again because I might mess it up. Carol loves to create and hopes that wherever life takes her in the future, photography will be at the center of it. So we want to welcome to the platform Carol Wright, but also remember, on WSL, what we have decided to do is give this platform over to aspiring young adults. And our co-host for this evening's show is Miss Jayha Knight. She's also at American University, and she's studying journalism. And remember, you heard her platform and you heard her interview. She actually has like 2 or 3 majors that I could never get right, but this is something that she enjoys doing. She loves talking to people. She loves finding other people. So she is going to do majority of the interviewing on tonight. So we'll learn a little more about Jayha, what she's doing, and then why she chose Miss Carolyn Knight. So her voice may be just a little hoarse, so I'll pick up wherever she falls off. You know, college, sometimes, you know, y'all are doing stuff out there, you know, in the weather. And since you're at the university, you got to walk outside in the weather. It's kind of cold in Washington, but who knows? She might have been screaming and hollering at a game or something. Who knows what she was doing? But anyway, we're going to welcome Miss Jayha and move straight into our interview with Miss Carol Wright. And then let's correct, hopefully, the name of the magazine, because I didn't ask her that before.
Yes. So it is Jayha Knight again. As Shemetris just said, I do go to American University with Carol. We are both studying the same thing, journalism and business and entertainment. And the reason I brought her onto the show is because I think it was last semester, I saw a Facebook post by Carol, and she was like, oh, we need people for this magazine. And at the time, I wasn't writing for like our school publication or anything. So I was like, oh, you know, like I want to get involved in this. I met up with Carol in the school communication. We had like a good like hour-long talk. And then I looked through the magazine and I was like, this girl is doing some things around here. And I thought it would be great to show her to the world.
That is awesome.
Broadcast out. So before we get started into anything, Carol, introduce yourself, your major, where you're from originally.
Okay. Well, hi, my name is Carol Wright. I'm from Mount Laurel, New Jersey originally, and as Jayha said, we're both studying journalism and business entertainment, which has been really awesome to do here in DC. So it's been really fun.
Yeah. So like, take us from, because you know most people when they're like 10, 11, everyone's like, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a firefighter, anything like that. Like, how did you know? Like, take us from age 11 to what you're probably, are you 19?
Yeah,
yeah. So take from 11 to 19, like how you knew photography was your thing and how that landed you with the opportunities you've had into American.
Okay. Yeah, well, it kind of took a while for me to find my passion. I grew up in a house where my sister started doing art. She's a really amazing artist, and she started doing fashion design when she was around like 10 years old. And I was always really jealous because one thing I wish I could do in life is draw, and I can't. That is just not my thing. So, you know, now I've kind of put down the back burner, but I really wanted to be able to draw for a while. And then my little brother ended up being able to draw as well. I was like, well, why can't I draw? Like, what? All the talent just skipped me. It went to everyone else. So I kind of found photography at around 11. I got an iPhone, and I just, well, actually, no. I started on my flip phone. It was a little Khajiit pink flip phone. And I started taking pictures. I just thought it was really cool that I had a phone with a camera. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I just started going around and taking pictures of the landscape and just different things around me. And I guess the kind of turning point in that was I went to Baltimore, and I went to the Baltimore Aquarium. And I took photos of the jellyfish and the different fish I saw. And then I showed it to my mom, and she was like, actually, these are really nice. And I was like, oh, are they? Because they were on my flip phone. I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yeah, these are actually really good. Show these to everybody. And so that was just kind of a moment for me where I got that feedback, and I realized I really enjoyed taking the pictures. And it just kind of sparked something in me. So then as I started getting other phones, you know, iPhones, better camera quality, I started taking pictures of everything. I started getting apps where I could kind of edit them and, you know, use superimpose to put different things together. And that was just my creative outlet for a long time. And then when I was 14, I finally got my first camera. And from there I kind of took off, and I was like, okay, this is really what I want to do. This is what I love to do. And then one day when I was sitting in my room, I was actually just reading Teen Vogue, and Instagram was kind of going off at that point. It was really popular. Everybody was on it. And I followed so many different photographers, and a lot of them were actually my age. And I was thinking, how did they get here? How are they working with brands? How they build a portfolio? How they get this good? And
wait a minute, hold up. You said you were at Teen Vogue?
No, I wasn't there. I was just reading it in my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
That would be crazy. That would be amazing. But yeah, no, I was just really inspired by it when I was reading it. And I kind of just had a moment where I was thinking, well, if photography is what I want to do, and I'm not sure how to get there, if I created my own magazine, then I could use that as a way to, you know, have real work that people could see, and maybe brands would be interested in hiring me. And so it was kind of that moment. I just decided, you know, I'm going to do this. I want to do photography. I want to get my work out there, and this seems like the best way to do it. So that's kind of the long spiel of how I guess from 11 to like 16 things really ended up working out. But
I got a question. What kind of camera do you have now?
I have a Canon Rebel T3i. It's actually the same camera I've had since like I was 14. But I don't see the need to upgrade, at least right now. It's been really helpful, and it's been great these past few years.
So then with all of that, how did you end up at AU? Because I know me personally, I live in Virginia, knew nothing of American.
Gotcha.
So how did you end up?
Right. It was kind of a two-parter. My mom went to Smith College in Massachusetts, but she did her semester abroad. Instead of going like to Europe or something, she actually went to AU for a semester and studied law. So it had been mentioned before to me, like in my house growing up. I didn't think anything of it, but she definitely told us about that time when she was in DC. And then I ended up doing the National Student Leadership Conference program at AU for one summer, and I got to stay here for a few weeks and meet people and learn about film. Our focus was communications, and then our focus was also film and media. So we got to make a short film, and I got to work with like other kids and make a script, and that was a really amazing time for me. And that was, being on the campus, I think for that amount of time, I definitely had a moment where I was like, oh, I could actually see myself here in the future. Like, I think this is where I'm going to end up going. So that was stuck in my mind for a while. So that's kind of how I got to AU. Yeah.
And like, so how would you say someone is looking at AU, or, you know, they hear the name and they're interested in communication. So how did you, coming into AU, it's very competitive and everyone's just I have to be on top with everything, especially in the school communication.
Yeah.
Like, how did you find like certain opportunities to position yourself like where you wanted to be?
Right. Well, yeah, it definitely was a competitive environment when I got here, and I didn't really think about that at first when I was applying. But I think one of the main things I was focused on was just trying to do things I enjoyed. So I joined a few student groups. I'm in PRSSA, which is the PR Student Society of America, which you're in as well. So
Yes.
cool. And then joined Photo Collective, which is all for like student photographers. And then I became an SOC ambassador. So I help give tours or talk to prospective students, help people with their transition in the school of communication. So yeah, I think my main thing was just focusing on, you know, what will I enjoy doing, but also how can I be involved in the community here at American. That's definitely, I would say for any incoming students or people who are thinking about coming to AU, you really have to integrate yourself into like everything they have to offer. Sure.
Yeah. I feel like we have like the same exact resume. Like,
no, it's kind of wild.
There's PRSSA. It's so crazy. So we keep mentioning this magazine over and over again. Like, tell us about the magazine, like your vision for it.
Right.
I know who you have featured in your magazines and who you've gotten the chance to interview, but I would like you to tell everyone.
Okay. So yeah, I think when I first decided to create the magazine, it was such a kind of spontaneous decision that in the moment I didn't have a business plan or any real like idea of what I wanted to cover. I was like, I'm just gonna start this, and then I was like, okay, if this is gonna become real, you know, we gotta lay down what we want to cover, who we want to be a part of it, that sort of thing. So as I started hammering out the ideas more, I really wanted to focus on up and coming stars because, you know, I love magazines. I really love to read magazines, love to look through the pictures. But, you know, you honestly see a lot of the same people on the covers of magazines.
Yeah.
Because if they're doing a big project, they're on every single publication that's out. Like, it's their face and no one else's face anywhere. And it just got me thinking about the people who are trying to get noticed. You know, how are they going to have the opportunity if magazines only give the covers to these bigger people, or even just features to these bigger people that everybody already knows about? So I wanted to kind of bring that aspect in and give people an opportunity to get noticed and have their voice heard. And then more recently, we started getting some bigger names, but it still worked out because it's been younger people. So it's people that are still growing in their careers, and, you know, they might have people that know about them, but not everyone knows about them. They're not on that like Beyonce level, but, you know, they have that audience. So it's been really nice, but that's my main vision, is really to give unknown people or lesser known people kind of the opportunity to be seen and have people find out about their music or their fashion designs or their upcoming projects through our magazine.
So what is the requirement? So when you say up and coming, so like Jayha, obviously she's interviewing you, so she could be featured in the magazine then?
Right, exactly. We've featured really kind of a wide range of people. I find a lot of people through social media. It can, you can have like one song out or 3 songs out, and if I just hear your music and maybe if I like it and we can discuss, like, do you have anything else that you're working on right now? You could be in the magazine. Like, it's not necessarily a certain requirement, like you have to have been doing this for a few years now or anything like that. It's really just people who are working and have stuff out there, but they just don't have like the audience yet.
Okay.
That's really our main thing. Yeah.
That's good. What is the age group of the people that you are interviewing and want in the magazine?
So it's been a lot of Gen Z and millennials, really. Okay. But what we've also incorporated into it, we have a Words of Wisdom segment in the magazine, and it's for people who are kind of veterans in their field and they have advice to give, since we have a younger
Gen X, maybe? No.
Honestly, yes. It's been really great. Actually, it's one of my favorite parts of the magazine. It's being able to interview people who are doing what you want to do, and they can really share what they've learned over the years. So in a way, it's kind of opened up the magazine for any age group to kind of be involved.
That's awesome.
Yeah, at first when we were creating it, we definitely wanted to focus on Gen Z millennial features, and now it's grown.
I like a lost video. I can't see you guys, but can you guys still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So I just can't see you. While you were saying all that, I thought of like someone to interview, which was crazy. I don't know if you remember, her name is Whitney Chantal. Because she used to go to AU. She just transferred, but she has an album coming out.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she actually performed a couple times, like through different events at school and everything. I just like thought of that for the magazine.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah, I really like giving people that opportunity. I think that's one of the happiest things for me when someone can say, like, we've been their first magazine cover or their first magazine feature. That's always really exciting for me. So yeah, no, that'd be great.
So like, of course, everything sounds great, and like, and you've had like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like, you've had the opportunities to interview all these people, but for someone who is looking to, you know, possibly start their own magazine or start their own business or something, like, what specific steps like did you have to take to get your magazine from like what it was to what it is now?
Right. I would definitely say first come up with a concrete kind of outline for what you want to do. You know, what's your vision for it, and who do you want to work with? Like for me, when I started, I immediately told my sister, I want you to do Nyota with me. Like, this is going to be our thing. So that's definitely the first step, is also finding the team and, you know, who's going to actually put in the work and do it with you. And then I would also say trying to find, if you don't have the tools, you know, our graphic designers, they use like InDesign, Adobe, but some people can't afford the Adobe suite. There's also like cheaper alternatives, like Canva is something that we've been using, and you can do graphic.
You've got two up, so you're gonna have to mute one.
Yes.
We literally, I see two of you. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. That distraction there. I think Jayha came in on two videos, but she's gonna have to mute one because literally you are on two videos. You gotta close one down, otherwise we're gonna lose our video. Jayha,
I'm trying to mute it. I don't know what's going on with it.
you have to close one down. You're on here twice, and you're gonna need to mute it. Mute it, otherwise we'll lose the recording.
Okay, I'm trying.
It's at the top.
Okay, that works.
You still have two videos up.
Right, I don't know where the two is coming from.
So let me, okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that, everyone. If you're just tuning in, we might be into the halfway mark, or not the halfway mark of the show, but this is WSL Radio, our youth and young adult talk show. You've got to love modern technology, and obviously if you ever watch this on video, but that was just the integration of two phone calls coming in at the same time, so I do apologize for that. But this is our youth and young adult talk show right here on WSL Radio, and today we are interviewing Miss Carol Wright, who is in the Washington, D.C. area, who has started her own magazine. And I actually want to talk just a little bit. We have our co-host, Jayha Knight, who's also at American University. But what I learned just from listening to Carol's story this evening is that she believed that nothing was impossible, but she took her trade and she created something from that. But one of the things that I wrote down is that she created the door that she wanted to walk in. So she was interested in, I'm going to use journalism, obviously, but in marketing, but creating her own thing. So she created her own magazine. And so she decided, I'm going to interview and find Gen X, millennials, not Gen X, I'm sorry, because that's what I am. Gen Z and millennials, and find the up and coming stars, because obviously if you're used to looking at magazines, you can go in the store and if someone's doing something great at the time, is that one individual on all of the magazines. And so Carol decided that she was going to go at this differently, but seeking out new up and coming people doing great things in their trade. And so I thought that was really cool. And then the other thing that I learned, that I think anybody, no matter what age you are, is that there's no excuse with what you have. She said that she still has the same, she's in college now, but she got a camera, Canon camera, a few years ago, and she said, I don't see the reason or the need to actually have to go and get another camera. It's doing what I needed to do, and she's using it. So I thought that was awesome, because a lot of times we will make excuses as youth, young adults, whatever, and think, I got to go and get something new. I got to have something brand new to do it. But to me, what she just showed me is that it doesn't take all of that. You got to utilize your resources and use what you have. Am I right, Carol?
Yeah, definitely. You are right about that.
So I think that that's awesome, because even me listening to her, that is a blessing to me, that it's like, it does not matter what you have, whatever what you have, you can start something with that now. And so I think that's awesome. So we'll let Jayha continue in her questions or whatever. But I just wanted to get that out, because that's a really great lesson at 19 years of age, that you would create the door that you wanted to walk through.
Thank you.
So since we talked a lot about like photography and your magazine, you also like mentioned you have a big interest in public speaking. So I guess, where did that interest come about, and how did that lead you to having a TED Talk at 17?
Yeah, well, it was really interesting to me, because I would consider myself a pretty introverted person, and especially growing up, very shy. When I was in high school, it took me a minute to get comfortable like speaking in the classroom. I was always really nervous to raise my hand. So public speaking was something that always freaked me out. And even now, this doesn't make any sense, but when I'm in class and I have to give a presentation, I'm freaked out. Like, I'm super nervous. But when I gave the TED Talk, I was not nervous at all. I was just ready to give it. So I don't really know where the public speaking passion has come from. I would definitely say part of it, though, has to be my dad. He's worked in technology and entertainment since I was a kid, and I've watched him give talks and go to panels and just do all these different things. And I think I've definitely learned from him and tried to incorporate that into what I'm doing. So I would definitely say part of it is I learned a lot from my dad and just kind of watching him do what he does. But the TED Talk itself came from a program I did in high school called Teach to Serve. And it's a 2-year program. So the first year you're with a cohort and you focus on an issue that you guys are trying to solve together. So we focused on plastic and how it's harmful to the environment and the human body. And we did some things with that. And then the second year you focus on a capstone. And since I decided to start the magazine that year during my senior year of high school, we kind of incorporated that into my capstone. And then I decided, okay, this is going to be my TEDx topic at the end of the year. And so, yeah, the opportunity came from school, but getting the whole talk together was definitely, it was a group effort. A lot of it from my mom and I kind of going back and forth, trying to come up with ideas, what's the exact message. And then it all just kind of happened. But yeah, it happened in high school. So I ended up being 17. But I know there are a lot of TEDx conferences that are just for teenagers that if people have the opportunity and they want to, they should definitely try that. And then there's obviously the huge TED conferences that everybody wants to go to one day because they're amazing. But yeah, that opportunity came from my high school, which was a really unique opportunity that I know a lot of people don't always get to get. So it was really exciting.
Were you part of the LA Intensive program?
Yeah, I went this past winter break. I went to California with the business entertainment program for a week. We were there for a week or so, and that was amazing. That was crazy.
I was gonna say, tell us about that, because I think I was talking to one of our other classmates and Carol's roommate, Maya, about AU has an LA Intensive program. There's one over the summer.
Right.
So they take a selected group of school communication students to California for a week, and they just do a whole bunch of stuff that I can't even name.
Yeah.
I remember Maya mentioned that you went through that. So, like, how exactly was that experience? Who did you meet? What exactly did you do?
Yeah, it's been a huge motivator to have heard everyone's stories that we went to. So I'll just name a few of the places that I was very excited about. We went to Rock Nation. We got to go to Disney. We got to go to Red Bull Records. We went to Village Studios. I mean, there were just so many things. Universal Publishing, we got to go to WME. So it was just a crazy trip. It was filled with so much. And I would say I think the best thing was just getting to hear everybody's background and kind of what they either did to get there or how they just followed what they love. You know, it was a trip that was really focused on the music industry, which is something I am interested in. So it was really amazing to hear from everyone and just how they love music. And then they got into it and they kind of figured out, you know, what do I love within this industry? And they just went after it. So that was really amazing to hear that, you know, they worked extremely hard, but it paid off in the end because they're at these huge companies. And we just, yeah, it was really cool. We just got to learn from them and listen to what they had to say and connect with them. And that's definitely something that's been motivating me since I got back. You know, like there's no excuses. I just have to keep working and keep trying to find different ways to get where I want to be. I would say a highlight though was definitely Disney. My family, we are Disney fanatics. So walking onto like the Burbank lot was crazy. That was the best thing. And we just got to talk to their music department and they were talking about the Black Panther album, you know, and it hadn't come out yet. And it was just really cool. It was just amazing. I loved it. It was a really great experience. That I definitely think AU people, if they have the opportunity and, you know, they find a way to go, should definitely try to go to because it's worth it.
Did you get the, for those who don't know, last year at American, it was a very tense situation because we had like 2 really big headlines that hit national news. So I'm wondering, like, did you cover anything or take any photographs from any of the protests that were going on? Or, like, did you try to, like, I don't know, like, keep that away from the magazine? Or, like, how did people handle those?
I didn't cover anything in the magazine, but I did go to like the different things they had on campus, and I like especially the very first kind of open protest. It wasn't really even a protest, it was just them talking and, you know, expressing why this was wrong, how it affected the people that had the bananas thrown at them, and just like how we need to be better as a community, and how we need to be more open on campus. I went to that, and I thought that was just a really great showing of unity for everyone involved because people were having their voices heard, but it was in a way where people could still talk. It wasn't like you just screaming in their faces and nothing. I felt like people were also listening to what was being said rather than there was just a lot of shouting or commotion. So yeah, I went to that. I didn't necessarily think of keeping it separate from the magazine. But I know a lot of on-campus people covered it, and then there were some bigger news outlets who actually ended up coming onto campus and covering it. So it wasn't at the forefront of my mind to cover it, but I did read like all the articles that were released. And I know someone got the chance to write something for Teen Vogue, I think, that she got covered. So that was really cool. Right, yes, Danielle. So yeah, even though those were terrible events, I think that it's been a way for Black students on campus to have their voices heard and have the administration listen and to try and make needed change on AU's campus for sure.
Which our university has done a lot better this year.
Right, definitely.
Actually. So you have a lot going on between magazine, do like public speaking here and there. How do you balance all that along with your schoolwork? Because I imagine AU's very tense place. So like, what is your course load like this semester? And like, how do you balance everything and then still find time to, of course, be a college student?
I think for me, last year, I didn't really think about it before I went in. I knew I wasn't going to stop doing the magazine, but I just was like, okay, we're just going to have to continue and just do work and school. And I didn't have it as scheduled, at least not fall semester freshman year. It was kind of just like I was working on it and then I would do my homework and then I would work back and forth. And it was kind of just because it was a new experience. So now that I'm a sophomore, definitely get the opportunity. I live by my planner, honestly. I schedule everything out. If I write down every little thing, And then I try to fit in, I'm going to work on it here. I'm going to do an interview this day at this time. So nothing overlaps and doesn't get too crazy, because I think that wouldn't work at all if I didn't try and schedule things. It would definitely get overwhelming. This semester, just taking 5 classes, and I actually decided to do.
That's 20 hours, isn't it? 18, 16. Yeah, no, 16.
Oh, 16.
Yeah. Maybe 15 credits.
3 times 15. I'm sorry. I'm thinking 4 hours. 4 hours per credit hour.
Yeah. So I mean that's been working out. I did a stack schedule this semester, so all my classes are Tuesdays and Fridays, which some people are like, why would you do that? But honestly, I think it's great.
Okay.
Probably the most helpful thing, because then I have all these other days. I work like on certain mornings, but other than that, it gives me way more time to get things done, which is really nice.
So what is your job? I guess that provides you some kind of income.
I just work on campus. I work in the business school in the admissions office. So that's been nice. I like the business school, like the people who work there are really nice. So, but I do that like in the mornings, and then I have kind of the rest of the day for whatever else I have to do. So that's been really helpful. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you are just now tuning in, this is the end of our first half of the show. You are listening to WSL Radio, our youth and young adult talk show, Vital. I am your host, Shemetris Vital, and today we are interviewing Miss Carol. She is at American University. She's a sophomore studying journalism, and she has made her own life. She has created her own magazine, and of course, something is going on with our technology at this time. But she created her own magazine. We've been talking about just her schedule, who she is, what she's doing, how she's doing, and why she's doing it. One of the things I want to leave you with. So why don't y'all put your things on mute? One of the things that I think is that she just talked about. Put it on mute.
I don't even have control.
Okay, hers is on mute. There you are. Put yours on. Hit it on your computer.
Yeah, I'll hit on my phone.
Are you on mute? No.
Because I can't do it because I have a blank screen.
You have a blank screen? So we're going to take a break. We've got some issues with technology. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. This is WSL Talk. Okay, so do I need to sign it out and turn it back on? I don't know what. I can't hear you.
I said I've been looking at the screen I just sent for like the past 15 minutes.
Okay, so do you need to do I need to stop it off? Because now it's giving double.
Yeah.
And it should. Oh, okay. So we'll hang. Well, why don't you hang up, or let me see? Can I take you out?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can hang up.
And then let me send you the invite.
Okay.
Okay. So Carol, you're still here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Okay. So now she's gone. Let me see if I can invite her back. Because when she came in, because that will take it out all the way.
Right.
Hold on, I gotta get her email address. Y'all got these weird email addresses.
Oh, for school?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel so far about the interview?
Good. I feel like it's really natural. I can mention, I feel like I've been saying the magazine. It's just pronounced Nyota. So Nyota. I don't know if you want me to throw that in. I can say it's.
Oh yeah, because we need to talk about that. So when I come back, I'll because I read on the magazine site that I want to say from Africa or something. One of them that it means
star in Swahili.
Oh, star. Okay, I was gonna say I know it was from one of the African places. JK51619A. StudentAmerica.edu. Let's see what happened.
Hey, I'm back.
Okay.
Can you see it?
I can see you both.
Okay, so just like I said before, if stuff starts to happen, find your mute button, because I have learned now with that, the mute button will at least cut out the sound and the issues that we have. So just find that, whether it's on your computer, because I think on my you can't hear me right now, can you?
I can.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's the mute on my computer. You couldn't hear me, right?
Oh no, I
Yeah.
Okay, and then the mute on the Google Hangouts, it actually shows on the screen that we've muted. So if for some reason we have some kind of issue through the technology, just mute it, and then that will help. Because one of my shows got taken out of the system because of that back play of both of the voices repeating. So I just want to make sure we don't lose that in the middle of the show. And I don't know, because Jayha, do you know how you ended up getting two of you?
No, I do not know. I was like talking, and then I'm like, why do I see two of me? And then it started echoing.
Yeah. Okay. So it dialed you in twice for some reason. So, and then however you lost the screen. So, okay. So we're going to go back and we're going to wait, you said Nyota? Nyota. Hold on. Okay, Nyota. So on this next part, we can talk about, you know, some of the greatest accomplishments, I guess, a little bit more with the magazine. You can talk about who you just recently interviewed. So Jayha, when you're talking about that, who you interviewed, what else I want to throw in there? Who she interviewed, and then what's up and coming with the magazine. And then let's talk about a little bit about what do you do when you're discouraged, you know, in dreams and things like that. How do you keep yourself going just as a young adult? Because you're going to get doors that are going to say no.
I feel good because that's what I had written out.
Okay, good. Oh, well, wonderful. Wonderful. So we're going to go back and we're going to go from there. All right, everyone, we are back. You are listening to WSL Radio, our youth and young adult talk show. I am your host, Shemetris Vital, and this is Vital Statistics. And today, if you did not hear the beginning of the show, that's all right. We've got some great information planned for you for this second half. But we are interviewing a young lady out of Washington, D.C. area. She's a sophomore journalist major. Her name is Carol. I'm using her first name. She is the editor-in-chief of Nyota magazine. It's actually online, but one of the things that we learned in the first half is that if the door is not open, create your own door. Walk through that door. And that's exactly what Carol has shown us at the age of 19 as a sophomore, you know, that she began making things happen on her own. I think for a lot of us, and this is even information for myself, a lot of times we wait on other people to open the door. We wait for other people to give us the opportunity. But our interviewee on this day is really showing us that anything is possible. So we're going to talk more about her greater accomplishments, but then also what keeps her inspired, as well as what do you do when you are discouraged. But we've got our co-host joining us, Ms. Jayha Knight, who is also a journalist major over at American University in Washington, D.C. And so we're going to let her answer the question or ask the questions of Carol. But I think you guys are going to learn a lot from Ms. Carol and what she's doing. I think this is just awesome. And then we're going to find out how you can find more things about her, where you can find her, where her magazine is. And you know what? She's also got a call out there for up and coming talent and people, because that's what she does. So she's on the lookout for young people like yourself doing great things. And she's got a platform to help you move your platform forward, just like we do on the radio. So back to you, Ms. Jayha.
Yeah. So besides starting your own magazine, which is an accomplishment in itself, what has been your greatest accomplishment since starting your own magazine? Like, do you have a favorite issue or anything?
I think the biggest moment for us was getting Sky Jackson from Disney Channel. We had like 7 issues out at the time, and we're trying to figure out who to cover next. And my mom had just read an interview that Sky had where she talked about how she's against bullying. And I think Azealia Banks had tried to like attack her over Twitter, and she took the high road. And my mom was like, "This girl seems great. Like, you need to contact her." And in my head, I was like, "Okay, I'll contact Sky Jackson. She'll definitely get back to us." Yeah. But I did it, and her publicist actually got back to us, and I was like, "Wait, what is happening right now?" And we kind of got set up, and then a photographer who's been mentoring me since high school actually allowed us to use his studio. He got like the glam team. He allowed us to come and have me use his cameras. His name is Jeff Vespa, and he's a photographer out in California, and he's been doing that for years. And he's just amazing. And he was kind enough to let us do that, which really gave us obviously a more professional setting. We got to get the shoot together. You know, we're working, all putting this all together. So that once that came out, I think that was definitely the turning point for the magazine in terms of like people actually seeing it, and now having us have people contact us and say, "Hey, we have this person we're representing. Would you want to give them a cover? Would you want to give them a feature?" So that's been the biggest thing for me, and it's my favorite issues. Like I like so many of the different covers and things, but I think just for the memories behind it and kind of what it's led us to now, it's definitely gonna always be a really special issue to me. Yeah, and then I guess most recently actually we just came out with our 2nd Star Power issue, and we decided to start Star Power kind of in between our quarterly issues, so that we could just focus on one person that we think everyone should have on their radar. So we just featured Marseille Martin from ABC's Blackish, and that's really exciting. We're so happy that we got her. So it's just really exciting. We think she's amazing. The fact she's 13 and she's about to star in and executive produce her movie Little, which is going to come out in September of 2019. So she's amazing. She works really hard. She's doing a lot. And she's so young, and we just think she's a perfect inspiration for our readers, and even for me as a teenager, and just watching her do what she loves. So yeah, it was very.
Do you actually talked to her, or do you talk to her her staff members that kind of do the interview, or do you actually physically interviewed her?
It's for hers. We kind of sent it in, and she sends back different answers, but it really depends. For each issue, we can email in the questions, or we might do over the phone, or if we're in the same area, we can do face to face. So it's really cool because we have the option of kind of doing it all these different ways. But yeah.
That's amazing. So what was the one thing that you learned from her interview that you'll take and, maybe let's over the next 2 to 3 years, what is that one thing that it's like, man, that stuck out to you? Kind of like me talking about what you're doing, and at your age that I'm like, hey, this is a lesson for me.
Well, honestly, I think her reasoning behind creating this movie Little, she said she had an off season from Blackish, and she was looking for a project to do, and she didn't see much out there for actors of color, and especially kid actors of color. So she decided to create this project, and that was just really inspiring to me, that she, went out of her way to get this done, rather than just say like, oh man, I can't find anything to work on right now. Like, what am I going to do? She was like, I have this idea, and I'm going to talk to the right people and get it done. So, and now she's going to keep focusing on giving child actors of color more opportunities, which I just think is amazing for her to be doing. And I think it's really going to shake up the industry in a big way, that she's going to continue to promote this and, have a lot of people of color get the chance to be in movies, be in TV shows. So I think for me, that's the most inspiring thing that she definitely said in her interview. And I think it was amazing that she, did this on her own and kind of went out there and got it made. It's really great.
I think that's awesome. Okay, wait, Jay, I got one more question.
Okay.
If you could interview anybody right now.
Oh my gosh, the same question.
So,
okay, great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is a huge question. I don't even know where to start.
Okay, well, let's do it this way. I'm not gonna make it harder, but I'll make it easier on you, I hope. If you could interview anyone, let's say over 40, who would that be? And then anyone that's a young adult like yourself, and then if you did a child star already, so maybe those two, because I'm sure there's always, like, if you could just sit in the room with one individual, they may be older than what your magazine produces, but you'd be like, hey, I would love to interview them.
Right. Well, going for our Words of Wisdom segment, I think obviously like Oprah would be just amazing, like beyond. I think she'd be amazing. Obviously, she'd have a lot of wisdom to share, and that would just be a great experience to kind of pick her brain. So that would definitely be for the, I guess, over 40 category. And then young adult, honestly, there's so many people doing great things right now, but somebody that we've been really thinking of a lot is Yara Shahidi, just because I think she stands for a lot of great things. She's, has her own TV show, but she's an activist as well. And she kind of just makes sure she has her voice heard, and she finds all these different ways to give young voices opportunities to kind of stand up for what they believe in. I think she's someone that, everybody is watching right now because she's just doing so much, and she's very poised and graceful. And Yara Shahidi.
Okay.
She's on Grownish, and then she started out on Blackish, and now she has that spin-off.
Okay.
So she's definitely someone that I would love to just talk to and kind of get to know and, pick her brain a little bit. Yeah. So I guess those would be my two people right now.
Well, she did shout out or screenshot the magazine, so that
we're one step closer.
That could possibly happen. So with doing all of this, have there been times like when you've been discouraged or like something has gone right or an issue came out late or anything, and like how did you overcome that situation?
Definitely. I think just keeping in mind that, everyone involved wants a great end product. So say like we might not all agree on everything that's happening, or say there's a layout idea that like I like, but someone on my team didn't like, or my team liked that I didn't like, or the person we're featuring might have preferred something else. You want to definitely keep the client first and make sure this is their cover or their feature, and you want to make sure they love it. You want to make sure the people who put the work in also love the end product as well. So I think when I get discouraged, or when I feel like, okay, man, I think I really messed up, or they don't like that, or they won't like the magazine, they will. It's just making sure you get that kind of middle ground and that compromise. And I definitely try to keep that in mind. And I also try to keep in mind that this is something I enjoy doing. So I can't just get discouraged and like give it all up and like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It's getting too hard. Like, I started this for a reason, and I want to keep pursuing it. So those are definitely two things that I try to keep in mind. And just, you have to be really open to change and be willing to make the changes needed. So yeah, I would say those two things definitely keep me motivated, even if I'm feeling frustrated at the time.
So since we're getting ready to be juniors in college,
Yay.
So like we're like peaking towards the end, and I feel like graduation will be here tomorrow before we know it. So after college, like, where do you see yourself going with the magazine, or like, what do you, or any other projects that you're working on? Do you plan on going to grad school? Like, what are you kind of thinking right now?
Well, definitely, I think grad school's in the cards. Right now, I am on the track to hopefully get my marketing master's the year after undergrad. And so do like a 5-year plan. So I'd have my bachelor's and my master's. And I think that'd be really great just to have that set. So that is something that's at the forefront of my mind. And then I guess I would say when school is officially done, I would love to go out to LA. I think that's really my dream place to live. I think it's where it's all happening. There's just so much going on there, and everybody's kind of pursuing their dreams in the entertainment industry. And I think it's a place that can keep me really motivated. But I really see myself there. And I'm hoping that that works out, because that's where I'd love to live and work too. So, yeah. And I guess for the magazine, it's interesting. I don't have necessarily like a 5-year plan, but something that I would like to do is be able to have it grow to the point where I have a full staff and have an office for it, and we're just working on this. Like, if this could be, or maybe not even just this, but if this could be one of the core things that I work on in the future, that'd be great, alongside of other things I'm passionate about. So that's something I've been thinking about, is really growing the team and being able to have a space to work in and calling it hours. And, you know, that's something that I think about a lot.
Would you ever think about having, like, I just thought of this, but like a workshop for like young entrepreneurs or like young, like, girls and boys of colors who are interested in like the arts, like photography? Because I feel like not even in just the Black community, but overall, like the arts are so underappreciated, especially like journalism majors. Like, people trash us, and it's so sad.
No, I agree with you. I got really lucky that my parents encouraged me to go after like the more artistic side of things, but there are a lot of people who would say like, oh, there's no money there, or oh, that's a dead industry. Like, why would you get into that? And that can be very discouraging, I would say. But yeah, I mean, a workshop would be amazing. One thing that we were really inspired by, my sister and I both got to MC Soledad O'Brien's Powerful Conference in the Bronx over the summer. And just watching her do that, we got to just watch her kind of get everything in order and see the run of show. And something that we really think about that would be amazing, would possibly be able to do a conference like that, or maybe on a smaller scale at first, just getting speakers to come in, having it be free, and people being able to network with these other people in these industries that they want to break into. So that's something that we've been thinking about and trying to figure out maybe if we can do that. But honestly, yeah, a workshop would be a great idea. I think that'd be a really awesome place to start, just so people know that there are opportunities out there for them. Because I agree. I think the arts definitely are underappreciated. They're needed. The arts is used every day, but yet people don't think that it's a valid.
You don't think it's appreciated?
I don't think they're appreciated. I mean, like, public schools will cut art programs.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And then you have so many people who try to be naysayers. Like, if you're like, oh, I want to go be an artist. Like, really? Like, you're going to be you're not going to make any money. Like, it's like, that's the first thing that you say when somebody tells you that's what they want to do. So yeah, I would definitely say they're underappreciated for sure.
But art is what we use every day in everything, whether it's on technology or whether it's on the wall. It's art, you know. And then I consider the fact that the way we dress is art, you know, every day.
Right.
You are showing who you are or where you're going every time you get dressed, whether the way you do your hair, you do your makeup, it's art. So maybe you guys can bring it back.
Right. No, yeah. And I think, honestly, our generation is pretty artistic, just based off, I guess, more so social media and different things. Like, a lot of people are using art as a way to express themselves, or it's the industry they want to get into. They want to be creatives. So it's really cool to see that kind of growing again. But yeah, I think there is definitely a generational thing where, like, some people think it's not what people should be pursuing.
Yeah. Like, people trash journalism until they need something, like some coverage, or they need Photoshop or a flyer made, anything.
And even right now, I mean, with the political climate, you know, you have fake news.
Yes.
Like, actually honest media outlets that are being trashed for just telling things how they are. So I think it's important, obviously, that people are still studying journalism and that people want to write and want to get the truth out there because it's needed. I don't see how people would really survive unless they got their information. Like, everybody's trying to get information at all times of the day. So you need writers, you need journalists to be out there to give that to you.
Okay.
So does your magazine, do you have a charge for your subscriptions?
Right now we do not. It's actually on a free website called Issue. That's issuu.com. And you can subscribe for free and you can read the publications on there for free. A few of them, they just started doing a paid program. So it might cost not that much, like $4 or $5 for you to read the issues that are on there. We haven't started using that yet. Right now, just anybody can go check it out. That's something we might be considering for the future. But yeah, we make it really accessible. You know, you have some Wi-Fi and you can log on and you can read everything we have out right now.
How do you think it's received amongst your peers?
So far, it's been received really nicely. It's really exciting. We have over, I think 144,000 impressions right now.
Wow.
Actually, no, sorry, I was totally wrong about that. We have over 451,000 impressions right now overall, like 12 issues, which is really exciting, and over like 13,000 reads. So it's been really great, and I love it when people comment and, you know, say that they like the magazine. And sometimes people will DM us. We've had a few people DM us recently and say, you know, I'm from Kenya, and it's great to see our language used in this way for this big company. And I was like, that's amazing. Just to get feedback like that, it's been really great. And I try to pick the brains of my friends sometimes and ask them, you know, once you read this, what's something you really liked about it or something you think we could improve on, just to keep it updated and, you know, pique people's interest. But it's been really, really well received through people my age. So it's been really nice to see that.
Well, if you just now tuning in, we just got another interruption. I don't know what that is. But if you're just now tuning in, you are listening to WSL Radio, our youth and young adult talk show. We are at the final leg of this radio interview. This has been such a blessing. Got another about 10 to 15 minutes left on the show, but it's our youth and young adult talk show right here on WSL Radio. I'm your host, Shemetris Vital, our co-host, Jayha Knight, and Miss Carol, who is the editor-in-chief of Nyota magazine on the platform of Issue. And so she has just been talking to us about her journey as an editor-in-chief and choosing to go outside of the general box of where we always put ourselves. Amazing young woman on the brinks of some great things who study in journalism. That's what we've been talking about, is that it's okay to have the dream of wanting to be in the arts, but sometimes you might actually have to make your own platform or open your own door or whatever that is. But she's just amazing. So we're going to finish up our interview with her, just find out a little bit more how we can really get involved with this, with her magazine. She's looking for young people who are on the rise and breaks of their own industry and everything. But we're going to finish up this interview and then we'll see what the Lord says next. But I hope to keep in touch with her after this.
Yeah, so like tell everyone like where exactly we can find the magazine, what is coming out. I think you said like 2 days from now.
Right.
Yeah, what's next? Like what can people look out for?
So you can find the magazine. Its home base is issue.com. That's ISSUU.com. And there's a lot of great publications out there. And we are fortunate enough to be able to publish for on Issue for anyone to read. It's free. It's also free to subscribe, and you can, you know, stay updated with what we're coming out with. Yes, and we have in 2 days coming out our March issue of Nyota, and it's going to have Navia Robinson from Disney Channel's Raven's Home on the cover. So we're really excited about that. She's really sweet, and her career is really taking off. So we're so happy to have her be a part of the, you know, Nyota cover family. But yeah, that's what you can kind of look out for. And, you know, once you subscribe, you'll just keep being updated with what we have. And you can keep reading about all the different emerging stars that we've already covered and see if you might want to check out their music or their movies or anything like that.
And spell the name of the magazine one more time.
For sure. So that's Nyota magazine. And Nyota actually means star in Swahili, and we chose that name because we feature emerging stars in music, fashion, and culture. So it all kind of ties together.
And there, that is, you have it. That is one of the many great people at American. One of, like, honestly, we're the same age, but a true role model to, like, especially me, and I know a lot of people in our class, because AU is a hard place. It can be a hard place sometimes. So like it's really great to see like people of color, especially women, like doing the thing at AU. So I'm very excited that I got the chance to finally interview you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes. Is she here with us? You're on mute.
I was like, are you done? You got 10 more minutes at least. 10 to 12.
Oh, we have 10. Wow, I didn't know we still had
that was just that 15-minute mark there, you know, so I had to put that in there, but you got another, you know, few minutes.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Okay, well, how about this? I can do this.
I have like random questions, like.
That's okay. Here's a random question. I was about to call you Nyota, your magazine, but Carol, what would you tell your younger self right now from where you are?
I think I would tell my younger self to, I guess, speak up and be more confident. I definitely was very shy, and I often didn't talk much, or I was nervous, especially in school, very nervous to speak up in class and to raise my hand. And I would say that's definitely something that held me back. So I would say to my younger self, you know, just shake that off and make sure you speak when you think you have something to say, and just, you know, don't be too shy and get out there and talk to people.
Okay, and then, you know, we got to turn that question around. What would you say to your future self?
Future self, gosh. I would say only pursue things that you're passionate about. Also, I mean, I'm doing that now, but continue to do that in the future. You know, don't ever just do something because maybe somebody else says to, or you think it's more lucrative or something like that. Like, continue to pursue what you love to do. That's what I would tell my future self.
And
so I'm gonna turn the wait, hold on before Jayha gets on here. Jayha, our co-host for the day, what would you tell your younger self?
I think I would tell my younger self to not be as scared to pursue things that you really want to do, because I knew, like, from a very young age, I was like, I want to be in front of TV. Like, I was a personality. I still am a personality. But I always think as I got older and I saw my peers, like, be like, oh, I'm doing like computer science or all these like STEM related majors, I kind of got in the mix, you know, in that mix of, wait, maybe I'm not doing the right thing, because, you know, I like we were talking about earlier, people like, oh, journalism doesn't make money, all this other stuff. So I think I'm gonna tell my younger self not to be so focused on like the money aspect of it, because if you're doing what you love, the money will come with it. Because, you know, you still have to live.
And what do you tell your future self?
I think I would tell my future self to live life like for you, not anybody else. Because I feel like I've made a lot of my decisions like based off of like other people and what they're doing, and I've always had like a plan B for journalism, and I'm like, no, like if I want journalism to work, I should make that my plan A and figure out the rest from there. Which is why like I double majored in business and entertainment, because I was like, well, if this doesn't work, I can always fall back on business. But I need to be able to like believe in myself and that, like, and believe in my craft, basically.
Well, that's good. I like what you guys had to say. And obviously, I just did that because obviously any young person that's listening to this, you know, no matter where you are in your life, you got to speak life over your life. And that's what this is all about. You know, listening to them is just like, don't be insecure. Basically, that's how I would summarize some of what they said. Don't be insecure. Get out there, stand up, and just do it. You know, don't let life pass you by is basically what I would put it into words. So anyway, Jayha, do you have a last question or two? And then before I give the final question that we have prepared Miss Carol for.
I have the best answer for that.
Yeah, so since the name of your magazine like is Swahilian, would you ever consider doing like an international issue? Like maybe if you had like a chance over the summer to go to like Africa or something, or like a specific part, like would you ever consider that? I think that'd be.
I mean, that is something I always have in the back of my brain as Nyota grows, because you look at big magazines like Vogue, and they have, you know, Vogue Japan, Vogue, British Vogue. They just have, you know, it's all over, Vogue Arabia. So, you know, as Nyota grows, that'd be something really amazing, is to have kind of a leg of Nyota all over the world. That would definitely be an amazing end goal, and I would totally be down for like a Nyota Africa, like in Africa, all of it's being done there, shoots there, team is over there. That'd be amazing.
Is everyone's very like Wakanda right now?
Oh
like,
my gosh, I know. Well, even speaking of Wakanda, we got very, very lucky, and we actually got to feature one of the actresses, Marija Abney. She's going to be in our March issue. She was like the second in command for the Warriors. And then we also got to feature well, my sister got to interview Ruth Carter, who did the costume design. So she's also going to be in our March issue. So you can look out for that, for a little Wakanda in that issue as well.
We've all got our Wakanda pose.
Definitely.
That was a great movie. It had lots of leadership.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Since you brought that up, what would be the one, what would be the greatest lesson that you learned from that movie? And that's for both of you.
I think the biggest thing that came out of Black Panther was, I guess, equal representation, or not representation that's not limited to a certain stereotype. Because honestly, when Black movies are made, it's a lot of, they're either slaves or they're in the ghetto, and you have no in between. And both those stories obviously are valid stories, and those are certain Black people's lives, but not everybody's living in, poverty. And at the same time, not everybody's super rich either. You have to show, a spectrum of people. So I think one of the biggest things was representation, because you got to see smart Black women in STEM. You got to see smart, strong women. You got to see a Black man who, respected the woman in his community and also was the king, and, he had strength of his own, that he was leading this whole country. So I think definitely showing a wide range of people, you really got to see that with Black Panther, rather than having this like limited scope. Black people can only play like basketball players, and they can only play that definitely, I think, shook things up, just because they kind of changed the narrative with that.
Yeah. I'm like kind of gonna go along the lines of representation, but more of, I'm around little kids all the time. Also, I work at a retail store. So seeing like a lot of little boys and girls like, oh my gosh, like a Marvel superhero, like Wakanda, like just the hype around it, and seeing like, I think I saw a video of like 2 Black boys. They saw the movie poster and they were like jumping around. They were ecstatic. There have been a lot of people, I work at Target, so a lot of like young Black kids who came in for like Black Panther merchandise. So like bed lambs, sheets, like shirts, everything. Like it's just a great feeling to finally see us represented in some way, because Superman is always popular, Spider-Man, those are the main ones you always see. So to have someone that's like, wow, like I can be a superhero. Like one of my little cousins, he's like, don't ask me how old he is, probably like 4 or 5. He's like, oh, like I want to be like just like him. And I think that is probably something I wish I would have had definitely when I was younger.
No, yeah, I agree with that. It's been really cool seeing the videos of the kids finding out they're either going to go see the movie, or that they had the theater sold out for them to go and get the chance to see it. I don't know if you saw that viral video. I don't know the school, but they announced to the class, like, you're all seeing Black Panther, and they were just dancing. Like the classroom was so excited. They started dancing on the spot. It's been really amazing to see little kids be so excited about it.
Yeah. And there's been like a lot of celebrities, like Kendrick Lamar, I think he bought out a theater just to send like a group of kids to go. And like this has gotten a lot of support. They've broken a lot of box office numbers. So that's also very exciting.
And we need to all go see it a second and third time while it's still in the theater, I think.
I saw it twice already.
I saw it twice.
I just saw it like a week or 2 ago. So yeah. Right after, well, I guess right after the big night. I saw it, a week later. But anyway, okay, so it is time for us to end our show. But before we end it, Carol, I have a question for you. As the founder of Why Not Wait, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, my question to you is, what does waiting mean to you?
So I think from my standpoint, I would see waiting could be seen as an excuse and not to start, what you want to do. I think a lot of people wait to get things started, or they wait until it's like the right time to pursue what they want. But, I think any time is really the right time. You can't wait to get things done. If you have something that you believe should get done, or you believe that, God has kind of ordered you to do this, then you just have to go for it right then. You shouldn't wait for it. So for me, that's what waiting means.
Wonderful. Well, I think out of all the people that I've ever interviewed in the last 4 years, you probably have given, that is one I have not heard yet. So you did something. Yeah, I haven't heard that one. Nope. is that it can be seen as an excuse. I've gotten a whole lot of other things, but I like that. So it's like, don't get stuck in the waiting process of life. So Jay, do you have any final words? Because it's time to say goodbye.
Thank you again. Keep up the good work. Even though I go to school with you, I probably see you like all the time. But still, like, keep up the good work. I'm definitely looking forward to the issue coming out in 2 days. I'm looking forward to still editing and going through like the new content that we have going. And I still think it's crazy that we literally have the same exact, like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
like major, the same clubs, everything. I did not know, like, I didn't know your business and entertainment minor until like now, I think.
Crazy.
Well, we're grateful for connection. So guys, you are listening to WSL Radio, our youth and young adult talk show. I am your host, Shemetris Vital, and this is Vital Statistics. I thank my guest, Carol, and my co-host, Jayha. If you want to find Carol, find her on www.issuu.com/ N as in Nancy, Y as in yo-yo, O as in octopus, T as in Tom, A as in apple, and the word magazine. Find out more about her magazine. If you want to connect with her and you did not remember anything that I said, find me on shemetrisv.com. We'll get you in contact with her because she's looking for up-and-coming stars. So she would love the opportunity to interview you. So you know what? With modern technology, you don't have to be in Washington, D.C. to be interviewed. So I thank both my co-host and my interviewee, Miss Carol, tonight. And you know what, guys? Remember to be the difference, make the difference, because the difference is ultimately in the change you choose to make. So we will talk to you next week, where next week, finally, we will go back to our When Wisdom Speaks segment, Over 60. I am interviewing the mother and father of Mr. Roland S. Martin, the Martins, and they are in Dallas, Texas, but they're going to give us some wisdom for being married over 50 years and being in their 70s. So I think this will be great, and I want you guys to tune in because you're never too young to listen to somebody that's more seasoned than you. So we are going back to When Wisdom Speaks. So take care and have a great week. Tell them goodbye, everyone.
Bye. My voice.
Okay, so that is the end